All right. Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. I've had enough of this weather. I don't know about you guys, but I've definitely had enough of this weather. Today was supposed to be the last day of this cool weather, and then it's supposed to slowly. Actually, I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a look real quick. I got to kill the volume anyway, so let's do the 10-day forecast. Yeah, so tomorrow we're looking at a high of 62, which will be much more pleasant than 46. Friday's going to be 71, and then even the over like tomorrow night's low is going to be 39, and then we get into the 40s at night after that, and then by Saturday, Sunday, we're looking at the 50s overnight, 70s during the day, and then next week we're like getting back into warmer weather. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, this 37 degrees in the morning in May is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So, well, before no, I am Jeff. I am not missing New York. Not at all. Not at all. Other than my family, I will admit I miss my daughter, my son, my sister, and my mom. I miss them. Okay, some friends that I miss as well, but it's global warming. How dare you? Well, they've changed it now. See, Nostradamus, they changed it now. Now it's no longer global warming because it's harder to explain these cold snaps. So now they just have to call it climate change. See, it just lumps it into a category where you can explain away everything. I love that. I just very very smart, very very smart. So, but anyway, before we jump into anything, I just want to remind everybody, very family friendly oriented channel. Please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. We'll have a real good conversation tonight. I got some really cool information that you guys are going to absolutely love. I actually took a poll and it gave you the results of the poll afterwards. So I'm going to read that to you. And yes, but global warming allowed them to spend 50 trillion in taxpayer money. Well, of course, at the end of the day, that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, so again, please just we'll have a good chat. If you can't abide by the easy, simple rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate that. And so we just want to have a good chat, enjoy each other's company, and hopefully learn something, maybe, or just share information, whatever it may be. Um, so I got to tell you, my sleep schedule has been so messed up. Last night I went to bed early last night. So what's early for prepper nurse one? I was in bed by midnight. Okay, so that's early for me. And I actually slept until 9:30 this morning, which I was like beyond shocked because I don't ever sleep straight through and get straight sleep. It generally doesn't work like that. The 2 days previous to that, I went to bed at 5 in the morning one day and 4 in the morning the other day. So I was like, I got to get myself back on a schedule that I'm getting up earlier, going to bed earlier, getting up earlier, and getting things accomplished. But when the weather is like it's been the last 3 days, it is it really is very unmotivating. You don't want to be outside, and we're looking forward to hearing about the bees. I'll tell you a little bit about the bees, but yes, we'll talk about the bees a little bit, and I'll explain to you what's going on with them. So, but yeah, but the weather just hasn't been pleasant and it hasn't been nice. So it'll be nice actually to see it hit 60s tomorrow, which would be great, and then warming up a little bit more after that, and maybe I'll get my motivation back. Like I said, I just when the wind is blowing and it's cold, it's just not fun. It's just not fun. But so real quick, I'll talk about the bees real quick. Uh, Before it got cold here in this little stretch, the bees were going through, and I'll show you. So here's a jar. Actually, you can see a little bit of residual on the bottom. Just give that a little shake. It's actually done really, really well. That's very little in there. But so sugar water, right? So we generally, before it got colder, they were going through almost a full jar of this a day. Right now, what they're in the process of doing is making cone. Is what they're doing. They're building out the hive, and so yes, it's a quart. So what I'll do with this, I do 2 cups of sugar, 2 cups of water in here, and that's what I'll mix together. And somebody made the suggestion of using hot water in this, and yeah, that'll work too, and I do appreciate that. But if I have enough time in between, if I just use the regular water, cool water in the sugar, I can shake it up, and it doesn't really settle that much. But so anyway, this last couple of days, because it has been so cold, I went out there the other day, um, and I could see that there was still a half a jar. So I'm like, well, let me go check on the bees. And so I didn't have any gear on. So I just walked back there, and there's a half a jar of the sugar water left in the feeder. And I look, and I don't see any bees. I don't see any bees, not any by the door, anything like that. And I'm like, that's weird. I said, I hope they're okay. So, of course, what do I have to do? I take the block off the top, and I lifted the top up. And the second one, I never took the second one off, but you could see there's a hole in the top of that one piece, and I could see all the bees in there, and they were just they were doing their thing. So I just put the top back on, put the block back on. Didn't want to disturb them. They're just laying low because it's that cold. So they're not doing a lot of building because of the weather. So they're laying pretty low. So yesterday, I did change the water out yesterday, the sugar water yesterday, and so did that. And like now today, I went and checked, and they had like a half a jar again. So by tomorrow, I will have to change out the jar again, and hopefully, as it warms up, they'll go back to using a jar of sugar water a day. Now, again, this year, just to give you guys a heads up, I probably won't get very much honey. I may, but I may not get very much honey this year, strictly because they are building. They got to. Once they get the first box built out to a certain point, I'll put the second box on. Yeah, I'm their sugar daddy, exactly. I'll put the second box on. Once they get that one to a certain point, then you have it's called a bee extractor, which does not allow the queen to go from the second box into the third box. So that otherwise she would go up into the third box and she would start laying again in that third box. So it doesn't allow her to go up, but it allows the other bees to go up there, and then they will make the honey in the third box. The third box is basically their honey so that they can get through the winter okay with no issues. The fourth box would be my honey. So hopefully, I would love to get a little bit, just a little bit this year, just to be able to say, I got honey from the bees that we have gotten here at the homestead. Now, next year, they're already built up, right? So they'll be good to go. So they'll be making honey all year long next year. If we end up adding 2 more hives next year, which is kind of what I'm thinking, if we do 2 more new hives next year, you don't like eggs with your honey? Oh no, I don't want to have eggs and honey. No, 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 no. So next year it would be, we would start 2 new hives, and they would have to build up again, and then that one would be already established, and they would be strictly making, honey next year. So that's kind of where we're at, and then we just kind of make sure that everything is copacetic, and we will go from there. But how do the bees winter over? The bees, I guess they do okay. You really don't have to change a whole lot with them. You need the air circulation in the hive, and because they'll have the honey in there and stuff like that. So it's not like you got to pack it all in or anything like that, because you could actually kill them. You need that airflow. So they will have, they will have what they need in the hive, so they won't even have to go out of the hive very much in the wintertime. So that's kind of the plan with that. All right, let's get into this topic. Oh, I'm excited about this one. So, New York State. I got my information written down here so I did not forget. I wanted to make sure that I that I got it right. So give me just 1 second here. All right, New York State uh, just passed legislation for New York State that no gas in most new homes and other um, constructed buildings. Electric in new buildings begins in 2025. So as of new construction, 2025, all new construction for homes will have to be electric only. No more gas in those homes. Okay. Uh, Requires all electric heating and cooking in new buildings shorter than stories tall by 2026. So if you're building a little bit of a high rise, as long as it is 7 stories or lower, it has to have all electric. So all electric heat, all electric appliances as far as cooking goes. Okay. Um, Hospitals, critical infrastructure, and commercial food establishments are exempt from the requirements. So isn't that interesting? Hold on, I got to blow my nose real quick because I hold on, I got it, and then I got a point to make. Instead of just wiping my nose, I figured, well, let me go blow it. Okay, so they're exempt, right? So hospitals are exempt. They're allowed to have a propane backup or a gas backup. That makes sense. I totally get that. That totally makes sense. All right. Critical infrastructure. So you probably need to have some kind of a backup system in critical infrastructure. But why? Why do commercial fast food or well commercial food establishments? So what do you think that means? McDonald's, Burger King, all those type of places, right? Because they probably got made sure that that was in there, that they were exempt, that they don't have to be part of that because they need to have, the other stuff available to them, which I thought was quite interesting. Okay. What are we at? 333 in the chat, guys. I'm only seeing 107 thumbs up so far. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please make sure you shoot one to show support for the channel. It really makes a huge difference with the algorithms, so I appreciate it for that reason. Also, if the more interaction with the channel, the better as well, so that makes a big difference, so thank you for that reason as well. Also, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications. Okay, um, so New York State's the first one to pass this legislation. What they're trying to do, Biden's plan to slash greenhouse gases by 50 to 52% by 2030 compared to the 2005 levels. So by 2030, Biden wants 50 to 52% less greenhouse gases being emitted from the United States. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that too, of course. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but they were trying to get these levels down. And so, of course, New York State being a hugely, well, I shouldn't say it's a hugely Democratic state because it's really not. If you look at the map, whenever there is an election, New York City, Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, Albany, all blue, right? Unbelievably blue. The rest of the state will be all red. Okay. By 2030, Biden won't even remember. By 2030, Biden probably won't even be around. Honestly, I mean, he'll be doing a Ronald Reagan if he's still around by 2030. He'll be doing a Ronald Reagan. If you don't know what I mean by that, look at how sadly Ronald Reagan ended up with dementia in a facility at the end of his life. So anyway, this is the whole plan, right? So there's a couple issues that I have with this because I look at things and I evaluate things. So New York City, or I mean New York State has passed this in. This is going to be the new laws, right? They don't have the infrastructure set up in place. Number one, okay, number one, to be able to guarantee that the electric will stay on for people. Okay, what happens? I want you to think about this, right? Dead of winter, February, New York State. Anybody that's been to New York State in February knows it is ridiculously cold and it sucks and it's not fun, right? So you're in your brand new built house. It's 2028. You're ready. Everything's electric. Wonderful. Power goes out, right? Now you have no way to heat or cook food because you have your electric stove. There's no way to stay warm because you have your electric heat. And I don't know if you guys know how expensive that is. Trying to heat with electric is ridiculous, ridiculous. Okay. Um, I don't know why I'm typing, and this is the only live stream that I have had a hard time showing up. Well, you're here. I can see your comment. Yeah, we see you, Sandy. Uh, Finally, she goes, my message showed up. Okay, well, there, yep, we see you. So anyway, so that's a problem because if you had a gas stove, right, and the power goes out, your gas is probably still going to be working. You'd still be able to get your gas, so you could turn the gas stove on, heat up your house a little bit, stay a little bit warm. If you're not allowed to have a fireplace or a wood stove in your brand new built home, you're going to freeze to death in your brand new built home. I mean, that's reality. That's reality. Okay. And so that's a huge issue. Again, with these lofty goals by Biden to get the emissions down by 50 to 52%, that's all noble and that's great. And I think that if everybody, and I don't just mean the United States, I mean all these other countries around the world, were on the same page in looking to try to decrease emissions. I just overall it's better for the planet. Number one, realistically, when you go to certain Chinese cities and the smog is so bad that you can't even breathe there, that's an issue, right? I mean, we can all agree with that. So there's probably should be something done. But when you have Europe, in the United States, in Canada, of course, leading the way with these rules that we have put upon ourselves, right? But when you have India and China, and I'm just going to use those two, and why am I only going to use those two? Well, when you have 8 billion people on the planet, right? We're right around 8 billion people on the planet. And 3 billion of those people are just in those two countries, just those two countries, more than 3 billion people in between China and India. And they don't have to follow the rules. They can continue to do coal-fired plants and all that type of stuff. They're not locked into this. They haven't agreed to any of this, and they're not going to. They're not going to. They're going to do their own thing. And so I have a real hard time going, okay, let's see. We have 330 million people in the United States, but you have these countries with 1.4, 1.5 billion people, and they can just go ahead and continue to build new coal plants. And our industry here is very heavily regulated, as anybody knows how our system is. So if you're burning coal or any of those type of stuff, it's very highly regulated anyway already. These other countries are not. China and India just can do whatever they want to do, and they're continuing to do what they want to do, and so it's not going to work. You think we're going to make that big of a difference in the economic things of the entire world when we are 330 million people out of a population of 8 billion people? And you have at least, because there's, let's throw in other countries in there as well, right? But we're just going to use those two. And those two channels are the majority of the people, realistically. Hey, Asif, the war on fossil fuels will hamstring our economy. Of course it will. There's no way it can't. I mean, if you think about fossil fuels, and let's go with just we're not going to do natural gas. We'll just talk about oil. Oil is in so many products that we use every single day. It is absolutely insane. So anyway, I read this article, wrote this information down, and then at the end of the article, it had a poll, and it says, I said, okay, I'll do the poll. So it asked you, okay, in this poll, um, do you strongly disagree? Do you, or no, strongly oppose? Do you strongly oppose, strongly support, somewhat oppose, and then no opinion? Okay, so it had this, in this, and it showed you how many people had taken this poll. So the number of people that had taken this poll was 5,537 responses. So what they did is they said, they asked your opinion on that. They asked how old you were, what demographic of age that you fell into. So they asked you that. They also asked, if you were male or female. So they asked you that. And there was a couple other questions, nothing that was like, too out of control. And so then it shows you the results based on, and this, guys, this is beyond telling. Okay, this is beyond telling. So of the people that took this poll, 5,537 people, which is a decent sampling size, right? What the question is, New York State's putting this new law in, reducing, any new construction that is moving forward as of 2025, all electric. So no gas, no propane, none of that stuff in these new construction. It all has to be electric. So all the heat has to be electric. All of the cooking for your wood, there's no more propane stoves. Everything is electric. So the question was, do you, okay, strongly oppose, strongly support, somewhat oppose, or no opinion? All right. So based on 5,537 people that responded to this question, and I was one of them. Okay, you'll guess where I stood on this one, right? I was very surprised, very, very surprised at the answers. 89%, 89% strongly oppose this new legislation that is going into New York. 89%. 3%, 3% strongly support it. I want you to listen to these numbers, okay? 2% somewhat support it. So let's throw the somewhat and the strongly support together. There's 5%. 5%, okay? 4% somewhat oppose. So if you throw the somewhat oppose in with the strongly oppose, now you're up to 93% of the people are not for it. Only 1% said they had no opinion. So if that doesn't tell you where people stand on this, but yet they pass this legislation in, right? They pass this legislation in. It is amazing to me that when people don't support something, right? When they don't support something, these idiot politicians are still going to push it through anyway because that's their agenda. That's what they want to do. Unbelievable, unbelievable. And again, if every country in the world said, listen, yes, we believe that we need to, and not for climate change or anything else, any other reason than that, but just pollution in general that's poisoning and killing people, especially in the big cities. Um, I've lived in the cities, guys. I lived in Rochester, New York. So Rochester, New York's not as big as, say, New York City or some of these other cities, but Rochester, New York is a fairly good sized city. All right. The smell in the cities is not a pleasant smell. The only time it smelled halfway decent would be right after a rain when all the ozone and stuff was out because of the rain. That's when actually it smelled halfway decent. Uh, but again, if all the countries in the world came together and said, yes, we need to do something about this, we need to cut down emissions to make the planet a better place for whatever reason. You don't have, just trying to help people and stuff like that. All right. But that's never, ever going to happen. When, again, 330 million Americans are going to be bound by these stupid, ridiculous things that they're saying is, oh my God, this is a crisis and we need to do something about it. Well, if that's the case, right? If that's the case, why isn't China and India on board? Right? That would be one thing. That would be one question that I would have. You look at what they're doing. The Biden administration is changing uh, with air conditioners, washing machines, dryers. All these things are being changed. Escape from New York, 1981, all over again. Yeah, exactly. Yep, exactly. And people wonder why that I left New York, right? You wonder why I left. There's a great reason why I left. It's never going to get better. It is only going to get worse. The taxes are ridiculous, just like California. And if there's no other reason, if there's no other reason to get out of a state other than ridiculously high taxes, that's a good enough reason on its own, right? Just that alone would be a good enough reason. But then when you throw in the weather, and we're not talking California, but we're talking New York, the weather sucks a lot of the time. This is the time of year that, hopefully the weather's getting better. And it's not in New York either. Right now, the weather in New York sucks just as bad. That's one of the main reasons why I did not go. When I was planning on going, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm going to stay right down here. Add natural gas fuels 5 of the 10 states' largest power plants by capacity, and natural gas fired power plants account for almost 3/5 of New York's generation capacity. P.S. Love the shirt. Well, thank you. Yes, this is, I will show you guys. Last year, Eric, Steve, and a buddy of Eric's, the four of us went to Aerosmith, played at Fenway Park, and it was amazing. An amazing, amazing concert. Getting to see them live uh, was unbelievable. I got to say that it was great. Our seats weren't the best, but we were there. We got to see it, and it was they were unreal, fantastic. I highly recommend. Well, no, Steven Tyler's like 73, I think now. Yeah, think about that, and he's still rocking it, still rocking it. They're just a fantastic band, just a fantastic band. But anyway, um, so you know, these are these type of things that they're implementing for New York State. There's a domino effect. Usually, it's California first, then New York follows suit, and then other, states that have that same type of mindset follow right after. But like I said, for getting out of New York State, when you're talking about the high taxes, and then you throw the weather in there. Let's talk about the gun laws, okay? I mean, let's talk about that for a second. I come down here to West Virginia, and I'm living in West Virginia, and it's a constitutional carry state. So what does that mean? It means I don't have to get permission from the local government to be able to carry a gun, right? It is open or concealed carry. You can do either one. I open carry. That's how I choose to do it. That's just me. It's my personal preference. Um, hey, Asif, if we follow these rules, I'll become a fossil due to no fuel being available. Exactly. Thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate the statement. Um, but again, it is, and the funny part is, like wherever I'll tell you guys, if I'm on the property, if I leave the property, uh, part of getting dressed in the morning in West Virginia is putting the gun on my hip. Okay, that's part of me getting dressed. The best part about West Virginia is wherever I've gone, nobody blinks an eye. They could care less. Nobody goes, oh oh my God, oh my God, he's got a gun. Nobody does that down here. Now try to do that in New York and see what happens. Try to do that in New York and see what happens. Maybe out in the country in suburbia it might be a little bit different, but boy, the minute you hit one of those cities or a big town, people are going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their minds, and it's ridiculous. We have the right to be able to protect ourselves. You know, it is just to me. You know, I carry because there's so many insane people out there now that if something happens, I want to be able to not only protect myself, but to be able to protect the people around me. So, carrying a gun is not just about, oh, I think I'm a tough guy. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. A gun is strictly a tool. And, that's, yeah, and a lot of people carry down here. A lot of people carry down here. So when I first got down here, I talked to somebody, one of the locals, and he had said to me, not a lot of fights in West Virginia. I go, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, because everybody considers everybody else armed and they're not going to screw around because they don't want to get shot. And that makes a lot of sense to me. An armed society, my friends, is a polite society, period. End of story. And if somebody has any inclination of doing something stupid, like I'll give you an example of something. So I was in a Dollar General. All right. So I'm in a Dollar General. I'm standing in line. Guy behind me says, "Can I ask you a question?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." He says, "What's the gun laws in West Virginia?" So I told him, open carry, concealed carry, constitutional carry state. You can do whatever you want. And then he says to me, if I was a bad dude and I was coming in here and I was thinking about robbing the Dollar General, and then I saw a dude like you standing here with a gun on his hip, he goes, I would think different about it. And plus, there's a bunch of places in New York you can't carry even when you have a permit, no gun zones. Yes, I saw that they implemented that as well. So just another way of controlling stuff in New York State, which is why if you live in New York State, I would highly recommend you get the heck out of New York State. Because here's a weird part about that. All right, no gun zones. Right, you're not allowed to carry a gun. But guess what? Guess what? Bad guys, people that have bad intentions, they don't give a crap about whatever gun-free zone crap you have implemented in place. They're still going to carry. Period. End of story. So, it's insanity. It is insanity. But so anyway, yeah, it's just. But again, if you are able to defend yourself and the people around you, I'm going to tell you what. I'm the person, guys. Like I said again, I'm not a tough guy. But if somebody started shooting up a place and I happen to be in that place, I am going to engage them. I'm going to engage them because I'm going to try to save lives. That's why I do what I do. Period. And if that costs me my life, as long as I saved other people's lives, it'd be worth it to me. And that may sound crazy, but that's just the way I feel about it, you know? So, and if I can distract somebody long enough that maybe Joe Blow over here across the way, who also has a gun, maybe he pulls out his gun and combined with me, we can take down the perpetrator, because here's the other thing I want you to remember, and this is important. This one's important. The police are minutes away when you have seconds to act. Think about that. Think about that. Minutes away when you have seconds to act. If you have your wife and your children with you, and you have small children, and you are anti-gun and you don't believe in guns, well, all you are is a victim. That's all you are. So, yeah, the gunfight's over before the police get there. Absolutely, absolutely. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it, guys. You can think whatever you want. You can have your opinions on it, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm not going to tell you what to think or how to feel. If you see, here's the best part. If you don't like guns, don't own one. All right, don't own one. But don't tell me because you're uncomfortable with me having a gun that I should disarm myself to make you more comfortable. Guess what? Screw you. I don't care. If you don't like it, that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. So, you know, yeah, pizza gets to your house faster than the police these days. Yeah, it's crazy. And in the town I lived in, I called the police, and about an hour later they show up. That's crazy. Yep. 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 My rights don't end where your feelings begin. Exactly. I like that, Don Hill. That's a great statement. And that's exactly right. I had a guy tell me at a gas station down here, only time I've ever had a negative response. He says, "Well, yeah." He goes, I carry a gun too, but I keep it in the truck." He goes, "You're going to make people uncomfortable, with carrying in the open like that, open carrying." And I looked at him, and I literally just looked at him, and I said, "That's their problem. That's not my problem. If they're uncomfortable with it, that's on them. I could care less." And he was like, "Oh, okay." He didn't know what to say. You know what? It's not about how you feel. You know, it's a tool. Period. That's what it is. It's a tool. I'm not going to pull it out unless I intend to use it. And if I tend to use it, folks, I'll tell you right now, I'm using it with deadly force. Because there's a couple of things that I want you to remember. Dead men don't tell lies. That's important to remember. And dead men can't sue you. That's the other thing. All right. If they're dead, they don't have their side of the story. There is no side of their story. All right. So, and in our society with cameras everywhere today, in highly populated areas, there's cameras everywhere. They're going to pick up everything. They're going to see what happens. And, so as long as you are doing things the right way and by the book, per se, you're going to be just fine. You're going to be just fine. You know, I carry two guns. Two is better than one. Yeah, I don't blame you, Larry. I don't blame you at all. I don't blame you. Yeah, I was thinking about getting something smaller where I could have the one that I normally carry and then have something smaller that I could conceal. I've thought about that. Oh, here's the other thing. Okay, let's talk. Let's add one more thing to New York State, right? So you are a legal gun owner in New York State, right? You got your pistol permit. You got your permission from the government that took you maybe a year to get. And that's after the sheriff has come out and interviewed your friends, and you've spent ridiculous amounts of money for your background checks and all this other stuff, right? You finally got your pistol permit. Now, in New York State, you have your magazine, and let's say you have a 10 round magazine, because you are not allowed rifle or pistol to have more than a 10 round magazine. But here it gets even better. It gets even better. You are not allowed to have more than 7 rounds in that clip. Did you seriously have to go through all that in New York? I didn't, because I never got my pistol permit in New York State. I never would, because I wasn't going to jump through those hoops to get it. I wasn't going to. So, but that's what they do in New York State. Now, you're only allowed to have 7 rounds in your clip. If you get a rifle, okay, add nothing like an ankle gun. It's very comfortable on your ankle. Yeah, like I said, I've thought about that. I've thought about doing that too. But so if you let's say you get an AR-15 in New York, right now, AR-15 in New York. They have the 10 round magazine locked in, pinned in. You can't take it out. Like, you got your AR-15s and you can take your mag out and put the new mag in. Not doing that in New York State. No, 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 no. If you bought a brand new AR-15 in New York State, it's locked in, pinned in. The magazine is, so you have to manually put your 7 rounds in, because if you get caught with more than 7 rounds in that magazine, you're going to get in trouble. So crazy, absolutely crazy. Um, so again, it's all about control, what you can and cannot do, and they're giving you permission. I don't need permission. I don't need permission. I am a free man, So you have to be law enforcement to buy an AR-15 in Maine. Wow, it's insane. It's insane. Yeah, JJ says make sure all 7 count. Well, I'll tell you what I have here. Okay, and you guys have seen it on my hip. Okay, it's a Glock 26. I have a 17 round clip and one in the chamber. So I got the extended magazine. And if that's not enough, I have an extra magazine in my pocket at all times. So if I can't get the job done, guys, with 35 rounds, then there is an issue on my part. Poor marksmanship. Poor marksmanship. That would be the issue. So again, I'd go to jail in New York State if I had that. If I got caught with that in New York State. So whenever I go to New York State, guess what? I don't take with me. I don't take my pistols with me. So, like I said, do I miss New York State? Some things, yes. I do miss some things about New York State. Do I miss the ridiculous laws? No. Do I miss the ridiculous taxes? No. Okay. Do I miss the crappy weather? I was going to say something else. Do I miss the crappy weather for possibly 6 months out of the year? No. Okay. Don't miss that at all. So, but anyway, that's just my take on it. We'll see what happens. I hated my Snubs Note 38. The accuracy was horrible. I sold that and bought something better. Yeah, you got to go with what you're comfortable with. Actually, other than family, what do you miss about New York? Italian food, Italian cooking. There is, some places down here have Italian food. It's nothing will ever compare to Italians cooking Italian food. I'll tell you that right now. Hey, Asif, 35 would not be enough against the Terminator. Well, that would be extreme, yes. But thank you for this statement. No, the Italian food in New York, when we go to Pino's, and I've talked about that, guys. If you ever get up into Greece, New York, there is a delicatessen up there called Pino's. You get a chance, go in there. All home cooked Italian food. It is unbelievable. The meatballs, oh my God, to die for, to die for. So that I miss. That I miss. That that type of food, actually cooked by Italians and Sicilians. Unbelievable. Best food ever. So you know, I should have been Italian. I really should have been, but I'm not. I have no Italian in me. So, but yeah, it's so some food I miss. Yes, pizza's different down here as well. It's not terrible, but it's not the same. So again, it's a preference. It depends on what part of the country you're in. What do you like? What are you used to? But it's. I have 3% Italian, mostly Irish and French. No, nothing wrong with that. Oh, there you go. I wish that'd be awesome, Prep Rebel. I wish. But yeah, I mean, it's just the food is huge. It's a huge thing. But like I said, when I take a trip to New York, when I do go up there and I go get pick up Heather and we go to see Eddie, we're gonna stop and because she'll be going, Dad, we're gonna go to Pino's because I know she ain't been there, since I've been gone. So we will definitely go to Pino's, no doubt about that. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, I have friends up there. I miss seeing them. I had one of my buddies called me out of the blue. It was funny. Here's a weird thing. So this guy, his last name is Fish, but we never call him by his first name. We always call him Fish, ever since I've known him, and I've known him for a long, long time. And I was thinking about him a couple days earlier, and I'm like, man, I wonder how Fish is doing. I hope he's doing good. 2 days later, he texts me. I mean, how weird is that, right? And so he's like, "Oh, you're down in West Virginia now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man." I said, "I love it down here." Nope, no snow down here, Asif. Nope. I mean, it's been like 37, but I know different parts have a little higher elevation had some snow, but not very much. But taking away all my guns won't make me harmless, just more creative. Exactly, exactly. But anyway, so he's like, man, when you coming back? We got to get together and play some cards. I'm like, absolutely. So I told him when I get up there, we will. I'll let him know, and we're gonna hopefully get together with the boys, sit around and play some cards. That'll be fun. Because like I said, that stuff like that camaraderie and that brotherhood. Like down here, a lot of people have no idea how to play euchre. Okay, they just have no clue about euchre at all. Well, it's a northern game. So, like when I lived in North Carolina, I'll give you an example. When I lived in North Carolina, the people that I hung out with in North Carolina were from New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan. You know, they were all Northerners, and everybody knew how to play euchre. So we would get together and we would play euchre and do that type of stuff. They don't play that, once you get further south. They have no idea what it is. So, but but anyway, that card game is fun. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. And if you're sitting around with buddies and just BSing while you're playing it just makes it all that better. Just makes it all that better. But I lived in Chapel Hill when I lived in North Carolina. Red. Yep. So I loved it down there too. I love North Carolina. North Carolina was awesome. So yeah, I don't think so, JJ. But that's actually funny. Euchre is a game here in Michigan. We learned to play it as children. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I grew up. I grew up playing, poker and euchre. So big thing. Oh, we're past time. JJ, why are you not on top of me about the egg count? What's wrong with you? All right. It is egg count time. So, how many eggs today? And yes or no for Miss Thickneck. I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses, and I'm going to have a sip of green tea. Uh, give you guys just a minute to get your guesses in here. What does thickneck mean? Is it a rooster? No, Kathy. Thickneck is she is an Easter egger. She lays a bluish green egg, and they have their neck is really full with feathers, so they look different. They're a different type of breed. Um, what are they? Arcadia or something like that. I can't think of the name of the breed right off the top of my head. But I have one of those, so that's why we always ask about her because I only have one of her. So up in New York. All right, if you had the same guess as Whispering Pines, which was actually the very first guess, which was the right answer, and that was 8 eggs today. And yes for Miss Thickneck. So that's her nickname. That's what I call that chicken. So Whispering Pines is a winner. So congratulations, Whispering Pines. You've won absolutely nothing except for bragging rights. So congratulations on that. Yeah, I want to have more of the Easter eggers down here. Yes, that is my game plan. I think that's a cool egg, and up in New York, there is 15 hens up in New York. Some of them are senior citizen ladies, so they don't lay anymore. The most eggs we've gotten so far this year was 10, and that was the most eggs that we got. So I think we have a few of the ladies are senior citizen ladies, so they are definitely not laying anymore. But so that is that. I want you guys to remember something that these politicians that are put in there, all right, and I shouldn't say they're bought and paid for because that would be that could be misconstrued. But a lot of well, I'll put it like this: a lot of politicians. This makes it better, right? A lot of politicians are beholding to the special interest groups or the big money backers that got them elected. Okay. And if they don't go a certain way with their votes, that these special interest groups and these big bankroll investors, if you will, want them to, they won't be in office long because what will happen is The next politician that's coming up will take that money from these special interest groups and say, hey, which way do you want me to vote? That's the way I'm going to vote. So they are definitely, I would say, a majority of politicians are beholding to, you know, to that. So that's the problem with politics today. Uh, Favors are owed, money has been exchanging hands, and there's a lot of corruption. That I can say without fear of being told that I'm spreading false information, because look at all the politicians that have been busted for corruption. Pick a city, pick a city, right? You pick whatever city you want, and there have been allegations of bribery and whatever the case may be, and a lot of these politicians have gone down, and that's what happens. And some of them actually do go to jail, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's been going on forever and a day. But at the end of the day, who benefits, right? Let's let's okay. So politician gets elected, right? And I own XYZ company. Woohoo! I'm XYZ company, and I have backed this politician, a lot of donations, and now I go to this politician and I say, listen, this bill that's coming up here, I want this bill to go through. I want this bill to go through. This is important to me because it's going to make me, company XYZ, a lot of money. Well, I'm asking you for a favor. And what happens 9 times out of 10, that politician is going to grant that favor because he knows when the next election cycle comes up, my XYZ company is going to strongly back him again because he has done this wonderful favor. We're going to call it a favor. We're not going to call it a bribe or anything like that, but we're going to call it, he's doing me a favor and I'm going to help him out. I'm going to make sure he gets reelected and rah, 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 right? Big business is who's going to benefit from these politicians in office. Special interest groups also are going to be doing very, very well. Why do you think so much money is spent with lobbying every single year? All right. Who you look at you okay, so how much money, and I this guys, I don't know the answer to this one, okay? But I would take a guess and say this particular industry spends more money on advertising than any other industry. And I'm going to ask you what you think that industry is that I'm talking about. What industry do you think spends more money lobbying, backing politicians, commercials, and that? What industry? And Asif, see, you're a doctor, Asif, so you got like that. You got the inside track on it, right? Big pharma. Big pharma spends a lot of money to get favorable decisions, what they want, and those type of things. Yeah, big pharma guys. I mean, if you what next time you see a show, here's what I want you to do. The next time you watch a show on TV. Now we know if there's an hour-long show, 45 minutes is the show. There's 15 minutes of commercials. So the next time you watch a show, just for your own research, count how many commercials are dealing with medicine, right? This medicine, that medicine, the other medicine. How many? You would be actually probably very surprised at how many of those commercials are going to be something to do with pharmaceuticals. It's amazing, you know. Lots of them are every other commercial. Exactly, Bubba. Exactly. So, but and then you find out 5 years, 10 years down the road, the wire mesh that they said was the next thing, best thing going since sliced toast, now doesn't work. Now there's lawsuits, and oh my God, these people are suffering, and poor people. And I feel bad for the people because you put your trust. That's what you do when you take a company's medicine, whatever the company may be, and you're listening to your doctor, or whoever the case may be, and you got to understand something. And there's no slam against you, Asif, but when you have doctors that are incentivized to push a product by a company with rewards of vacations and other incentives to push XYZ product. You know, you're getting a free vacation or whatever the case may be. You may be persuaded as a doctor to push a certain product. I'm not saying that all of them do it, but it does happen. Okay, it does happen, and so that's something that you have to pay attention to. So when you're going to the doctor's office and you trust your doctor and you say, Doc, if I take this medicine, is there adverse side effects? What could happen? And if they're not completely honest with you, then that's, to me, that's a problem. They should be honest. They should listen. You can take this medication, yes, but this is a possible side effect, and that information should all be disclosed. It should be. So, what doctors don't push meds? Yeah, right. A lot of them do. A lot of them do. So it happens. Yeah, Asa says Google can help you. Yeah, that's true. Again, do your own research. Find out. I'll give you a great example of something, and it's just I just was talking to mom today, just talking to her earlier today, and this is my mother's almost 80 years old. She'll be 80 in July. Okay, and so she said, yeah, I went to pick up my prescriptions and there's this new cream that the doctor ordered for me. She goes, I have no idea what this cream is for, so I just put it on the shelf. So I want you to think about that. Why was she given this? Number one, she has no idea. All right. Granted, she's 80. She could be a little forgetful. It happens. I mean, my God, I'm almost 58, and half the time I'll be talking about a topic, I get distracted, and I can't remember what I was talking about. So I can't even imagine what it's going to be like 22 years from now, you know. So these things happen, but the thing is, it's like she doesn't even remember what she got that medication for, and that to me, that's kind of frightening, to be honest with you. So what do we got? 414 in the chat. We're at 313 on the thumbs up. So once again, guys, if you have not shot um, a thumbs up yet, please do so to show support for the channel. I do appreciate that ahead of time. It really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. If you are not receiving notifications, my suggestion would be to unsubscribe, resubscribe again, and then hit the bell icon for all notifications again. Uh, I don't know what kind of games they're playing, but they're continuously playing games. It's been going on, again, not just my channel, a lot of different channels out there. Um, it becomes very frustrating, when you are shadow banned, your people are not being notified when you put a video up, when they continue to take more subscribers away. It's just, it is what it is. We got to deal with it, and that's just how it goes. I did that 3 times now, and I'm still not getting notifications. That's crazy. That is crazy. Tell your mom to call the doctor and ask him what the cream is for. Yeah, I will. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I got to make some Rumble content, guys. I have not yet. I've had a lot of other things going on that I've been doing. So I'd had to hide the chat to give you a TU. I don't know what you mean by that. I haven't even asked for the plaque, guys. I'll be honest with you. It's almost like I earned it. I should have it, and I get that. I got to shoot somebody an email because obviously they're never sending it. It's how many months? Almost a year ago. More than almost a year. So I'm going to have to email somebody. Oh, a thumbs up. Okay, I gotcha. So, but yeah, I never got it. Never got it. So that's what happened to me with Gray Man Prepper. I'm not getting any of his notifications, and I don't get that either. I really don't. I mean, Why play that game? You know what I mean? Why play that game with people? I don't understand it. I really, truly don't. I don't. So, but it is what it is, and we have to continue to play the game. And, that is how life goes sometimes. So, all right, let us go. All right. It is, man, look at that. Actually, almost on time. How about that? Only 30 seconds off the. We are going to do some shout outs now. It's other channels that I like to recommend. Any channels that you guys like on the side here in the chat, go ahead and put them in. If I don't mention them, that's perfectly fine. I only give out so many shout outs because I could go pages and pages otherwise. So, first off is Icky Can up in Canada. I would ask you to support him. He's a really good guy, very down to earth. Second guy is Angry Prepper. That is Jason down in New York City. Another really good channel, another really good guy. So definitely go show him some support as well. You have Alaska Prepper, and that's Rudy. Really, again, I like Rudy. I think he's a good guy, and he's doing good things up there in Alaska. There is Alaska Granny. You have Sean James with the Sean James channel and My Self Reliance, two different channels. Same guy, building up in Canada, building his homestead. Amazing to watch this guy build. He is unbelievably good at building. So it's really kind of cool to watch what he does. You have Demcad. He used to be in, I think he was in Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. He got out of there, and he definitely he's a good guy, very smart, and definitely somebody you should be listening to. You have Corporal's Corner. I like Corporal's Corner because he shows you how to make all those like underground dugouts and everything else underground, and that's pretty neat as well. You know, shelters and those type of things. You have Bjorn Hansen. There is 80K Man up in the Adirondacks. You have Bizarriza Jizza, who does the Carrington Chronicles. It's a really interesting story to listen to. A lot of good information with that. You have Marfugal News. That is Adam and Dax out on the West Coast doing their thing out there. Really good guys. Definitely check them out as well. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. There is Wranglestar, and that is Cody, another really good guy, very, very, very knowledgeable. Red Poppy Ranch. There is Survival Lily. You have Kyle's Cabin up in Minnesota. Nice, Kyle and Sierra up there doing their thing. Nice young couple. Definitely check them out. There is Bush Radical and Girl in the Woods. Husband wife team, two different channels. A lot of good information with what they're doing. And like I said, they've split their time between Michigan and Alaska. Let's see. We have Green Greg's. Green Greg's really good information as it comes to gardening. Definitely check him out on that. A lot of good information there. Southern Prepper 1 with his Boots on the Ground series. I like his series. A lot of good information. He's getting information from all kinds of people and giving people a heads up and letting people know how things are going. You have Gray Man Prepping. There is St. Bernard Acres with Joe, or shall we call it, what do we call it? Beagle Acres. That's right, Beagle Acres. We have Doug and Stacy. They've been around a long time. Really good folks. Definitely check them out as well. You have the Nomadic Movement. All right. They have been around for a bit. They are down in Panama. A nice young couple down there. You have the Green Dream Project. They are out in Arizona, showing you how to live in the Arizona desert. Really cool to watch them. From everything from collecting the water during monsoon season to utilize for the rest of the year. It's so smart, and it's amazing to see it. And more people should be doing that. You have Camping with Steve. That's Steve Wallace. He does the stealth camping, a lot of fun with that as well. Bush Doctor Survival. You have Monkey Works. There is the Needy Homesteader. Again, she's been around for a long time. A lot of good information on her channel. You have Boss of the Swamp. Another really good guy. He's been around for a very, very long time. Another really great builder. So fun to listen to him and stuff like that. You have, let's see, Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Diamond is a very smart guy. definitely should be checking him out and listening to the advice that he's going to give you. You have Patera with the Appalachian Homestead. There is City Prepper. You have Lumina Acres. You have Suspicious Observer. A lot of cool stuff on his channel. There is Bear Independent. You have The Uneducated Economist. Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands of La Palma. Mary Greeley News, giving you all the latest updates of what's going on with Yellowstone, the volcanoes, earthquakes, and stuff like that. Definitely check her out. There is Adapt 2030. You have Malachi's Corner. There's Ice Age Farmer. If you're going to get your weather, there's only one guy to get your weather from, and that is Ryan Hall Y'all. Ryan Hall's a great guy, been around, really passionate about the weather, and he really gives back to the community, which is amazing. Okay, so definitely check him out. You have Russell Brand. I really like Russell Brand. He gives you the information, and then he lets you decide what you want to do with it. Simple as that, and I like that. I think that that's awesome. And, so I definitely recommend him. You have Deep South Homestead, very down to earth channel, very family friendly, good people. So definitely check them out as well. You have The Outsider doing his thing up in Maine, building his house in the middle of the woods. He had his dad helping him do that until his dad passed away suddenly. Really good information with that. Really cool to watch that process being done. You have The Fit Farmer. There is Prep Rebel. You have Simple Life Reclaimed. There is Townsend's. A lot of interesting information on that channel, so definitely check that out. You have The Prepared Mind. There is Pinball Preparedness. He is in Tennessee. Good channel as well. You have East Tennessee Preparedness. You have The Economic Ninja. And last but not least, Little House Off Gritty. Another good channel. They are also in Tennessee. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other channels that you guys like. I would, I think it's important that we look at different perspectives. Everybody's coming from a different place. Everybody's coming from a different upbringing. Nobody's lived the same life. So, there's a lot of good information out there. I think that anything that you can pick up that's going to help you, I think is a good thing. So that's why I definitely recommend checking out other channels as well. So I can hear it right now. It's raining outside again. Oh, imagine that. One of those things. What are you going to do? So, hey, Prep Rebel, no problem, my friend. No problem. But anyway, guys, I think it's important that we share information and that we support each other. The off-grid and the homestead community is a small community, and I think it's important that we support each other and not fight and act stupid. I don't understand that. It makes no sense. I'll tell you what, like anybody else, right? There's channels on here that I don't like. Here's the other part. I don't watch them because I don't like them, okay? But you will never hear me come on here on this main channel and ever badmouth them because I think it's counterproductive. I have my own reasons for not liking certain channels, and so I won't watch those channels. I will never go and I will never troll them or any of that type of stuff. I think that that's counterproductive. It doesn't help at all. And to sit there and badmouth somebody because of whatever reason that you don't like them. I mean, it could be as simple as their voice. It could be their attitude. It could be, you don't like the way they look. I mean, whatever the reason, or you don't like their content. So just don't watch. Why would you? And this is what I can never understand. If you don't care for somebody and you don't like them, why do you go back and watch over and over and over and try to go more and more and more? It doesn't make any sense to me. It makes no sense to me. So, but anyway, so that's just my take on that. All right. Moving forward. Again, guys, I'm going to always continue to encourage you to prepare. Do not be victims. Do not put yourself in a situation where you will be victimized. Don't ever do that. Continue to prep. Continue to get ready. Be as ready as you can when that other shoe drops, which it will eventually. Okay? I'm not going to say when because I don't make those type of predictions. But I do believe, it is important that we are as ready as we can be. When the time comes, we do what we need to do. We got to take care of our families. We got to take care of the people that we care about and that we love. And if you have a group, you take care of your group. I think that's hugely important. So that's where I'm coming from. And, I'm going to continue to try to show you how to live this lifestyle, what we're doing, what we're planning to a degree. You're not going to hear everything, obviously, but I think it's important to show you, like even with our group, okay? I've had so many people say, um, you know, I've had so many people say, oh, well, groups don't work. They fall apart. It never works, and blah blah blah. Well, you know what? We've been doing our group for a year now, and it is getting better. It is growing. We're adding new people, and I think that that's important. And I wanted to make sure that we showed that, and what you can get accomplished if you have a group of people, of like-minded people working together. I think that's really important. So that's why I show that. It's another reason why I show the successes as well as the failures, because we're all going to have failures in life. Things are not always going to go the way that you want them to go. Um, it's not how you fail; it's how you deal with failure. If you get up, you brush yourself off, and you say, "Okay, that sucked. That wasn't cool. I didn't like that," and then do something else about it. And that's where, again, you show me anybody out there that is hugely successful, right? And if you sat down with them, they would tell you that they had many failures before they became successful. And, you know, I noticed the Cheez Its are back. That's right. There's the Cheez Its. Not as big a box. We don't go with the great big huge box anymore. So, but this is family size. So, Um, guys, we are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We are all over the world. We are a huge family, a huge network of people. Where is everybody from tonight? We have Franklin County, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, with Rhonda. We have Northern Virginia with Robert, Inverness, Florida, with Clyde in the house. The beautiful Pennsylvania Wilds with Pennsylvania Granny. Ulster Park, New York, with Francine. Southwest Ohio with Barbara. Um, yes, failing is lessons. Exactly. Janet in BC, Canada. We have Minnesota's in the house. Emil in BC, Canada as well. Charlotte County, Florida with Gloria. East Central Pennsylvania. I was going to say Pennsylvania again. Leesburg, Florida with Joan. The UP of Michigan with Don. Central New York with Village Homestead. We have Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Campbell, Missouri with Antonio. Houston, Texas with Prepper Patty. Greenlee County, Arizona with Codster. Waterloo, New York with Sharon. Quebec, Canada with Luke. We have Michigan in the house with Michigan Lifestyles. St. Louis area. We have Louisiana's in the house. West Virginia. CCP, Michigan. Milton Keys, England. Very nice, Linda. Glad to have you here. Thanks for staying up. Troutman, North Carolina with Troy. uh, Morristown, Tennessee with Patty, Ontario, Canada with Dave, Bay of Islands, Newfoundland, Canada with Mar, Western Michigan with Tess. Let's see, we have Finleyville, Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania, Dallas, Texas. We have, let's see, we have Sean the Englishman in Chatham, Ontario, Canada. Very nice. Vermont in the house with Apple Blossom. Southwest Ohio with Pam. We have Janet in Wisconsin. West Central Ohio with Dale. Southeast Ohio with Frank. Uh, Tucson, Arizona with Angela. The People's Republic of New Jersey with Donna. I know how you feel after living in New York for most of my life. So, anyway, guys, again, we are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge network of people. We are the ones that are awake. We are the ones that can make a difference. I think that we should try the best way that we possibly can. I think it's important that we do so. So, Morning light. Raccoons and possums running around all the time. Yeah, I'll tell you what. The road that I live on here, and this was actually, it was after, I think it was a rainstorm. It was a rainy night, and I was doing a night trip from New York back down here, and I got on my road, um, and it's a long, long road, and I can never remember seeing as many possums on the road that night as I saw that particular night. It was like between 5 and 6 in the morning, and I'm like playing like dodgeball with the possums, trying not to hit them, because it was that many out on the road that night. I'll bet you I saw, in a 6 7 mile stretch, I'll bet I saw 20 possums. And I'm like, where are all these freaking possums coming from? And I, unfortunately, I did hit one, because I'm not running off the road not to hit a possum, but I was trying to avoid them the best that I possibly could. So I have no idea what that whole deal was with the possums that particular time, but it was crazy. So, hey, Troy, maybe a treat for Hella. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, she definitely likes her treats. Oh, I gotta tell you what happened today with her. Oh, I love this dog to death, but she drives me absolutely crazy sometimes. Absolutely crazy sometimes. Sorry, Ed, I love them, but they aren't that smart. No, they're not. They're not, and they're ugly. But they do eat ticks, which is a good thing. We like that part of it. So, so when you raise yours up there, Mark, bring them down here and set them free down here on the property, so we have some tick eaters. But anyway, so this morning, brand new pair of pants, right? Get dressed, put on a brand new pair of pants. Because I'll tell you what, I'll wear the same pair of pants for a while. So if they're not dirty, I'm gonna wear them. Or if I am, like, if it's a weekend and I'm working like crazy, I'll wear the same pair of pants all weekend, because why dirty up 3 4 pair of pants when you can just wear the same one, right? So this morning I put a brand new pair of pants on. I take her outside. She's running around like crazy. So what does she do next? She jumps on me, and I'm like, oh, hella. I said, can't I be clean for just a moment? Well, of course not. It just doesn't work like that. But that's how she is. She is a nut job. So, but I love her anyway. I guess I'll keep her around. She's kind of grown on me. Yeah, she's got to put her signature on. Exactly. So anyway, so that is that. I want to thank my moderators, guys, who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. I appreciate everything that you do, ladies and gentlemen, that moderate for me. It means a lot, really, truly does, and is very much appreciated. I want to thank all you guys for being here in the chat. It is a lot of fun. I do enjoy these chats, and it's amazing how the time flies, and we keep, with doing these, and it's just like I can't even believe that it's already May, and I can't believe the first 3 days of May have sucked so hard weather-wise. Very disappointed. It'll get better. It'll get better. But anyway, um, and the bees are doing good. They're doing their thing, and so I'm trying to keep them low profile as possible. And I'm gonna probably in another week I'll check and see the box and see what it's doing. I'm gonna, within the next few days, I'm gonna paint that other box, as long as the rain holds off, and get that outside, get that one painted, get that one ready. And and when I do the exchange, and I'm going to show you all that, I'll do it all on video, and that'll go into the playlist with the bees. And so I think that that's an interesting thing to do, and I want to show people how. And I'm going to tell you what, I am going on advice of people that know what they're talking about. Driveway looks great, Morning Light. The driveway looks awesome. It's holding up really, really well. Really happy about the driveway. Really happy. So, but yeah, it's going really, really well. Remember, guys, we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race, and as soon as we can figure that one out and come together as human beings, we can accomplish anything that we want to. We have to stop letting them divide us. They use race, religion, and political affiliation, or the big three that they like to use to keep us fighting amongst each other over nonsense. It means nothing. At the end of the day, if we came together as human beings, there would be no stopping us with what we would want to accomplish. But if they can keep us fighting, amongst each other, we're never going to come together, and we're never going to go up against the real problem. So, no, she ended up not getting together with that dog. She's. I'll have to wait till she goes into heat again, and see what happens. But yeah, as of right now, no, she's not pregnant. Also, guys, remember to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you were trying to do, whatever you were trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that's going to stop you from achieving your goals is you. That's it, nobody else. If you stay positive and stay away from the negativity, you're going to be just fine. What are we at, 390? Oh, come on, 10 thumbs up. Let's hit 400 before we jump off here. Guys, let's do that. I'm seeing 390, so we need 10 more thumbs up. Let's get that up to 400 before we jump off. I know I'm probably asking like way too late here because it's like the end. But so I'm seeing 396. Come on, 4 more thumbs up, guys. Let's just do that just for fun. Let's hit 400 before we jump off. We're seeing 397. But again, keep prepping, keep taking care of your business, keep taking care of what you need to. There we go, 401. Awesome. You guys are awesome. So anyway, be safe. I will see you guys on the next one. Keep doing what you got to do. Take care of your business, take care of your families. It's really, really important. Okay. So 407. So we blew through it now. 408, I'm seeing. Awesome. All right, guys. Have a good night. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.